Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age on the MysteriousJG. Don't know if I'm going to do anything about my presentation to improve it, since this, in theory, like my penance video from the Final Fantasy XLP, could end up getting many more views than normal video of this LP, based on the fact that I'm going to beat the ultimate boss in it. My confidence is pretty high about being able to beat the ultimate boss, because I honestly already beat the ultimate boss off screen. I set up some gambits based on, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I read the Final Fantasy Wiki article on this boss. I know how you're supposed to do things. And I set up something that I thought would work. And I set it to auto battle. And I went for a walk. And I came back. And the battle was mostly done and was going our way. There's a few things you want to do kind of manually at the beginning of this fight. But at the end of the day, the ultimate super boss of this game is a ridiculous collection of hit points more than anything else. It has ludicrous hit points, and it takes forever to whittle down its hit points. There are more dangerous bosses as far as how quickly they can kill you, including the boss that's given me more trouble than any other in this game, who was Zodiac. But this boss is also dangerous. The biggest difference between the version of the boss in the Zodiac Age and the one from the original version of the game is that the Zodiac Age version is susceptible to things like Addle and Wither and the other two techniques whose names I am blanking on right now. You've got Sheer. Addle decreases magic power, Wither increases physical attack power, and then Sheer does magic resistance decrease, and I forget which one does physical resistance decrease, but it's in here somewhere. It's not Achilles. It sounds like it would be Achilles. It's exposed. I don't know if it's susceptible. The final boss is susceptible to all those in the original version, but it is in the remake, and that's the same reason we were able to defeat Omega Weapon in the last video. So we should be able to do this. Our gambits are set up right now. One of the common strategies to defeat this thing involves actually using the reverse spell to make one of your party members recover hit points when they are attacked, and using certain, AI manipulation strategies to try to get the final boss, Yiazmat, to attack that particular party member all the time. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to try to reduce its offense and defense as much as possible, and then just set regular old, have people attack, and have at least two people who have some curative defensive type things in place that are prioritized over attack. And Vaughn, once we're done getting its stats under control, I will consider berserking Vaughn, because he is using Yagyu Darkblade, which has a darkness element. And in fact, this creature is wholly elemental and is weak to dark, which is why we're doing that. But it is the final boss of the game, and if we can defeat it, it will involve, to do so in less than 90 minutes or so, is going to involve me speeding up the game, which is another thing that makes this much more doable in the remake than the original, or even if you were perfectly prepared. Oh, and all of these are not much fun either, but let's trigger some of these early and get them out of the way. So Yiazmat is mostly going to, when you're close, it does physical attacks, which once we've used Wither on it enough, will eventually not be a threat, except that its physical attacks they have I think it's a 1 in 10 chance of inflicting KO, and you can't defend against that. So you're always going to be losing party members. But when you're up close, it's doing those physical attacks primarily, which means you're not going to get a full party wipe that way. And these traps have not been too bad, but I am going out of my way to... Let me do something about Petrify. Real quick. Oh, that's right. This game doesn't have soft. What is going on? Is Bosch not, You don't have gambits on? Why aren't you acting? Probably did something stupid with my setup. Petrify. So why aren't you doing something to... You're probably out of range of Balthier. Because I'm moving around too much. But I do rather like the idea of getting rid of... Yeah, it also has attacks that inflicts Petrify, and it sometimes inflicts Stop. But the Sten Needle traps aren't too bad, but I do want to make sure that I'm not setting them off at really inopportune times. And it's kind of nice to... Yiazmat won't let me get at this one. I'm actually trying to set it off. So our biggest risk with this is actually going to be to run out of certain items like Phoenix Downs over time. And we need to... And Rake will hit us all. It uses somewhat more dangerous attacks actually if we spread out to... If we get a really long range. It doesn't like that. So I kind of want to pay attention to when we miss with these a lot. Because if we miss a whole bunch of times in a row, that basically means it's stopped working. And it does look like they've stopped working. I think we've perhaps fully degraded its I think we have fully degraded its attack power. So that's expose. You instead can do sheer. Oh, you're the party leader, no wonder. Okay. I had him as the party leader, and he wasn't targeting anything, so he was never targeting anything. So as you can see, we just used the things that decrease its offensive output over and over and over at the beginning, and it's not really that dangerous now. It's doing like 68 damage to Balthier. It would still be dangerous if we backed away, because it would start using like long-range instant death spells. And some of what it does will still be dangerous even with low... Like, if we get its hit points down, its power will go up, and it won't be as pathetic as it is right now. But you can see how many hit points it has. It's ridiculous. So we're taking down Magic Resist. But, again, I don't... We would be strong enough to be standing up to it at level 80-something and using it... Here comes its special attack, which is wind-based. Some tactics involve defending against this in special ways, but it appears that its damage is linked to... It appears that the damage it does is linked to, its magic stack. As you can see, it didn't do that much. Okay, we need to get that lower in the priority mix so that people are taking care of Van. So we saw sheer miss. Looks like sheer has started missing. So if sheer started missing, do a little bit more exposed just to be on the safe side. I guess we'll try to steal from it, why not? Still a holy stone. Expose still seems to be working. I'll put you back on sheer just in case. The main thing is to make sure we've absolutely decreased its defense as much as and offense as much as possible before we switch over to anything else. All right, I think we have well and truly done that. Switch you back to Addle. And see if this misses a few times in a row. I'm just trying to be on the safe side here. And you, I mean, you can be ticking away with attacks, but there's not much. Actually, I think I didn't even. Well, I'll try it for a while, but I think when I off-screened it, I didn't even have him attacking. He was purely just doing. Okay. Now we've well and truly got them to where they're not doing. You don't need Libra, actually. So this will allow him to get berserked. And then he'll be on offense. And you are going to start doing... And this, I've got them using equipment that decreases how many MPs spells take to cast. And I will have him going for Scathe, I think. Oh, that's all foes in range. Flare might be faster. I don't think we're actually going to get any anything out of using the quote Neapolitan trick where we equip that item that reverses the effect of remedies. I think this boss is immune to everything. But couldn't hurt to try it out. It is immune to everything. At least everything that Bosch is able to do. Where did I... Oh. Sage's ring. Now, probably the most dangerous part about this is that now, with Van Berserk, he's going to damage it a lot faster than he would otherwise. But you can see he's doing like about 20k a hit. But the chances of something going wrong go up pretty substantially. And now we've got almost half of one of his hit point meters gone. But as you can see, he's got like, I don't know, like looks like about 50 of them. So it will take a while. I'm not really going to bother with haste because it just takes a really long time to people are going to get killed and revived periodically. So we're just going to kind of do this in super high speed for a while. Every so often somebody dies, and then a bunch of spells get cast to bring them back and reapply some buffs. And people get the sap effect put on them, and you can see I went ahead and got rid of all the traps early to make sure they didn't surprise us when we didn't have any time for them. Van berserking himself. And I just need to kind of keep an eye and make sure that no status ailments get cast that I didn't allow for in my gambits. So this is not... I don't think this is considered a cheap like the reverse strategy, where you kind of undo... where you like make it so it's healing you, but... Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've the fact that this defense and offense reducing stuff is effective means really the only threat is the fact that it can instant KO you. And even ribbons, like I decided that ribbons are not as important for Van, excuse me, as the Genji glove, which increases combo rate, and for everyone else, it was like, if we can just stretch those MP out a little farther, that's better than... Because occasionally we have to do something about sap or petrify, not often. Alright, so I'm going to get a drink of water here while this goes on. And it's kind of on autopilot from here. Remember, this is happening at 4 times speed. So this would all be taking far longer. This would be more challenging in the original version because you can't decrease its offense and defense. But as you saw, even at the beginning, we were surviving its attacks. So really, this battle has always been more of a, like, just test of your patience. Its stats will go up if it gets near the end, but I always find bosses like that really frustrating. In part because it's like it's going to take you an hour of grinding through the part that you know you can handle before you get to the part where with 10% strength length it gets more dangerous. It really is like, how much time do you know, it's supposed to be fun. Like, I don't want to spend an hour getting to the part that I might or might not be able to defeat easily. Okay, so this is one of those... Oh, this is one of those dangerous parts now. But Balthier... Do we just need to... This is where things can get dangerous, because Balthier appeared to be... What's going on with him? Are we out of the thing that gets rid of... No, I didn't think we were. Just for whatever reason, like... His pattern caused him to drift to where he was no longer close enough to support the rest. And that's the thing. It's like over long periods of time, they'll move around and they won't be supporting each other automatically, and you have to periodically take it off of high speed mode for that reason. But we're back to it now. He's not quite a quarter of the way defeated yet. So again, you can appreciate how insanely long and dull this would be if you were doing it And to this day, this is the Final Fantasy game series boss. I don't think anything in the online stuff has supplanted it, but it is the main series Final Fantasy boss that is known for being the one that's just the most ridiculous and time-consuming to defeat. So I'm going to feel pretty good to have this under my belt and done on YouTube. Sad as that might sound. Death Strike is annoying, and it's one of the ones it does if you get too far away. Where you want to stay in close, because it just does a spell that is supposed to just one-hit you. That's the whole point. So in theory, this can go faster using certain strategies. I think if you have your Berserk person at critical health, they might do more damage or combo more often. So you have intentionally set it up so that they don't get healed, they just get revived. But I'm playing it fairly conservative, thanks to the fact that we can speed things up. I don't feel a desperate need to get it all done in like record pace for real-time fights. I'm trying to think, what should I do to actually fill out the video? Because now it's going to be a lot of just kind of hanging out, playing Nintendo. I mean, after we've done this, we're kind of, other than if I decide I want to go do the fishing game, and I'm not going to play that all the way through, but I might go out and do I've never done fishing in this game. I might go do a round of fishing just to see what it is. You guys are not being buds when people get hit with the stop status. There's a Chronos tree, buddy, using good health. But even though I've got Balthier occasionally casting Flare, and it's been weakened down with low magic resist, it's really Van who's doing the damage here. And this fight is supposedly only winnable at low... Like, you don't have to be level 80 to do this. You can win it at low levels, specifically because of Wither, Addle, etc. But yeah, after we finish this fight, I think I might spend a little bit, like a video, just trying to get the fishing pole so we can see the fishing game, and then I'll leave it to you guys if you want to go look up the cinematic you get with Gilgamesh, which is not voice acted, which is the big ultimate conclusion of the many hour-long fishing game. Are the gambits set so that, like, ally equals stop? You should be using Chrono Trigger. So apparently you just have to be really close to your ally before you notice they are stopped. This is the main thing that's making me actually have to pull out and manually control stuff, is when it's wherever anybody gets stopped. Use the Chronos tree for crying out loud. Oh. Let's just watch, like, glowing with power Van launch his vicious attacks. I wonder if I should split this into two parts. I guess I could. What about the halfway point here? Yeah, actually, this is looking like it's going to take about 2 normal videos. I guess we'll see. Yeah, but I mean, the damage is coming from Van. I almost would consider dropping the offensive combos of the other guys just to be more conservative and make sure they're ready to heal at all times. He does have... Okay, he does have bravery applied. I think, unless that symbol next to his name means berserk, but I think that's what the red flaming face meant. Alright, so a couple more minutes of this, and we'll call it part 1 of 2. And when I come back in part 2, maybe, I don't know, I'll do like a story recap or something. We gotta find something to kill the time here. Petrified, sapped, and dead. It's almost like Yiazmat finds him to be threatening. Looks like you're carving up Balthier. Balthier, by the way, or Bosch is using the shell shield just because it reduces the hit rate of his auto death attack, I think. Might be wrong about that. He could be using a bow and arrow, but then like the odds that he'd get separated from everyone else and stop supporting them would go up even higher. Although I do think one of the arrows has dark elemental, so whatever, we're winning, it's fine. Maybe I should just let this one go long, because it's already more than halfway defeated now. So the second half of this exciting adventure might be a little on the short side. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you here. It's a really long fight that is made much more bearable in the remake because you can do 4 times speed. And I would argue that this is not a good boss design. I would argue that a boss that takes this long to kill, but that you can just set up some gambits and kill it, and like I said, I went for a walk and came back and the fight was mostly done. I would argue that's not good boss design, but it is extreme boss design, and it looks like we're going to be able to win this fight. So I am going to go ahead and call it a video here and just actually make this 2 separate videos. Between videos, I am going to look up how to accomplish getting a fishing pole and starting the fishing side quest, so that if it, if it takes less time than I expect to defeat Yiazmat in the next video, I can round out a video with that. Because that would mean we would be well and truly, in 2 videos' time, be ready to just go in and win the main story and complete this game. So, anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed. There are various different strategies to beat this boss. This is one of the most safe. It probably only works in the Zodiac Age version. I think in the original version, maybe I feel like it's one of the offensive ones worked. Like you could cut its physical attack damage down, meaning that it became a matter of surviving like the periodic big hit magic attacks, which is more of a traditional boss fight. But it's not constantly in danger of wiping out your party with physical attacks. But the big difference being, in the original version, there was no ability to speed things up and no ability to lower its defense. So it's just going to, no matter what tactic you take, it's going to take, like, it was meant to take, like, well over an hour. It's going to take me roughly an hour anyway, even with the speed up. But, like, it's supposed to be, like, 2 hours was a good time against Yiazmat in the original version, which is kind of ridiculous. It's not... Come on, guys. I know that that video gamers are supposedly less patient than they were in the old days. Those old NES games are usually pretty short, man, but you would have to play through the whole thing in one sitting. But, you can say that, oh, young players don't have the patience to really enjoy a good, long boss battle. No, Yiazmat was and is ridiculous, and thank goodness the Zodiac Age makes it somewhat bearable to do. It appears in the big boss gauntlet mode, which is the main feature of the Zodiac Age remake, I'm not going to be showcasing, is the trial mode version. But even in that version, they like gave it far fewer hit points, because there comes a point where it's like it doesn't get more dangerous significantly, it doesn't get better at killing you, it just takes forever to beat, and that's, you know, really lame in the gauntlet mode. Anyway, guys, be back next time when we will finish off Yiazmat. Bye-bye.